every part of me with a joy that is so strong. And when I get weary and the joy seems far away, I hold on to the melody, and these are the words I pray. Oh, lift my eyes, eternal sun, to see your grace is in the storm, and your grace is holding me. And let me sing with the angels on the earth of the good that has to be. My God is good. My God is good always. All the kingdom of heaven sing. God is good. Hello. My God is good. My God is good always. All the kingdom of heaven sing. God is good. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well, my God is good always. All the angels of the earth sing. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. God is good. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
May our hearts be open. 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 May our hearts be open.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's Open Heart Spiritual Center virtual service. I want to thank you for joining us today. And I'd like to start off today by, if you will join me, I greet you, I bless you, and I see the God in you. And as we recognize and realize that I see the God in you, you see the God in me, we see the God in each and every single one of us. Because that same source is within all things. And so I'm grateful to be here for this opportunity this morning. I know that we've had a busy week and lots is going on. And so I just want to ask you to set that week aside, set it aside right now, and take a breath. And now is the time to turn within and be present for the music, for the reading, and for the message. And I just give thanks for each and every single one of you that are joining us today and for all that take part in this service today. I am so grateful for our Open Heart Spiritual Center and for the message that we send out, and that I just pray and know and allow ourselves to set the intention that our message is heard by so many others, and that it just continues to spread and to grow and to build, and we continue to evolve. And so share it with your friends, and let them know that when you come to Open Heart, it's all about love. We're all here to be loving beings on this planet, and that's really our one job. We all think that we need to go to work and do this and do that, but our one job is just to be a loving presence. And so right now, let's turn within and allow ourselves to recognize and realize that, just love. To love each and every single moment, to love every breath, and to take this time right here and right now and to just love yourself, and to give yourself this time and this opportunity, and to remember that not only this time to love yourself and in this moment, but in each and every single moment, loving our thoughts and putting those out into our world, and loving our thoughts of ourselves and loving our thoughts of one another, thoughts of our leaders and all that's going on right now. Let us raise and praise all that are on our prayer list, and those that may not be feeling well, lift them up. And through this service, hold them in your heart and see them well, and knowing that our paths are all perfect. And so right here and right now, I just give the message of love, and that we just allow ourselves to be loving in this moment, in the service, in the here and now, in always and always, and with joy and gratitude. Let this wonderful service begin. And so it is.
Some cry along the way,
walking through the sadness,
for a world that needs to know
love can take us higher, reveal the way to greater love.
Oh yeah. So the truth keeps telling me
Love's the only answer,
and to all humanity
we can stay inspired, reveal the way to greater love.
so
We let it
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Good morning and welcome to our Heartstream for this Sunday, December the 4th, 2022. I want to say, because I know a few people that watch are my fraternity brothers, and this is our Founders Day, December the 4th, 1906. Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity was formed, the first black fraternity, and I want to say happy Founders Day to all of my brothers, all my frat 06, and appreciate this day. All of you, I thank you for being a part of this Heartstream, for you joining us as you do each and every week. You don't know what it means to me and to have your support, what it means for you to be a part of this. I know that there are things that happen as a part of this Heartstream, not just my messages, but the music, the affirmative reading, and the other ways in which people find inspiration, find strength, find encouragement, find wisdom, find all of the things that this Heartstream is about. I know that for some it's different because we're not in person, but we are going ahead and continuing to do all that we can do to make this Heartstream relevant and reach out to you in the ways that we can. I hope that you will continue to support us financially. We do have expenses that we incur that help to keep this Heartstream going out. And just again, I appreciate all the people around the country who tune in, who watch us. And it is so important that you continue to do so and spread the word. Tell your friends and family about this Heartstream. Don't just keep it to yourself. I remember years ago, our church went to visit another church and they served us dinner after the program. And there we were sitting down in the basement and there was a man who finished his meal first. He started eating the dessert and he went, "Oh, this cake, this is some bad cake." And then he finished it up and then he got another slice and said, "Oh, this cake is bad." And we started looking for a minute. We realized if the cake is that bad, why are you eating another piece? So somebody else went over and got a piece of the cake and started eating. "Oh, this is the best cake I ever had." And what we discovered, he enjoyed the cake so much, he was trying to keep it all to himself. And I'm just saying, don't be like him. Don't try to keep this Heartstream and Open Heart all to yourself, but share it. Share it with friends. When we put the announcements out every week about our upcoming Heartstream, share that in social media. If you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, you can press the like button, the thumbs up button. That helps us get circulation out to more people. It is helpful that you do these things. And as always, I greet you. I bless you. I see God in you. Our theme for the month of December is Journey Toward the Light, and our daily affirmation: I am a being of light. I remain steadfast in the face of darkness and allow my true nature to shine forth, piercing the darkness and lighting the way for me and others as I journey toward the light.
Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing the cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is the song. Ding, joyful ring, all caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how the bell rings in the sound, what a beauty, all their tones. Filling the ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding dong, day is done. Ding dong, day is done. Ding dong, they say, long about him. Dear joyful tone to every home. Hark the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is the song. Ding, joyful ring, dong, caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they come raising the sound, how be all their tones. Gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding dong, day is done. Ding joyful ring, day is done. Ding they sing, dong without end. Ding to every home. Dong they sing, on without end.
Good morning, Open Heart. Today's affirmative reading is entitled, In Good Company. No one else will come to your rescue to help you live the life of your dreams. Even people who genuinely love you will likely not understand your priorities. And even if they do understand, will be powerless to help. Transformation happens only through daily effort, and, at least at first, through solitary effort. Eventually, you find working partners, allies, who can help your plans come to fruition. In the meantime, it's just you and the yoga mat, you and the sketchbook, you and the keyboard, you and the gym. Meditation teaches you to be alone without being uncomfortable. As you sit here keeping company with yourself, realize just how much is happening beneath the surface. Your mind contains a symphony. You have a plethora of skills and abilities. So being here alone need not be fearful or boring. Just sit here in good company. And so it is. Thank you.
Hey, 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 here come the announcements.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day. Today is a day like no other day. Just think and you'll know that it's true. Days like today should be holidays. So I'm singing this message to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day.
On Saturday, December the 24th at 4 p.m., we're joining the two local Unity churches for a Christmas Eve service. It's again at 4 p.m. at Unity Christian Church of Memphis in Whitehaven at 3245 McCorkle Road. We hope that you will join us as we gather to celebrate the season. Our daily affirmative prayer call takes place each and every morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. Dial in as one of our prayer team members shares an inspirational reading and then prays for you, all in about 7 minutes. At Open Heart, we believe in the power of affirmative prayer. We don't beg or plead God to do anything, but we set our intention and recognize God expressing itself in, through, and as each and every person. As such, all of these individuals and families that are represented here, we see them healed, we see them comforted, we see them strengthened, we see them encouraged, we see whatever it is that they have a need for and a desire for, and we hold the space for them, knowing it's already done in the mind of God. And so it is. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am richly blessed, creating a greater and greater and greater flow. We have ways in which you can give and support Open Heart through Cash App. Our cash tag is OHSC901. You can go online to our website, OHSC901.com. Click on the word give and contribute there. Or you can text the word give to 615-422-4292. Infinite prosperity is mine to share. I am blessed. Thank you for your gifts. Thank you to all of you who have signed up to support us through Amazon Smile. If you haven't done so, you can do so today.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin.
Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy holidays to you, your family, your friends.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin.
Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy holidays to you, your family, your friends.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. All right.
Please let me feel inner peace from my center at the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center at the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center at the center of me.
I invite you to listen to the sound of the bowl as we enter into a space where we are receptive to today's message. Breathing in, we allow love and light to enter our being. Breathing out, we release all those things that no longer serve us. Breathing in, we are receptive to all that is ours to know today. And so it is.
Have you ever found yourself in darkness? Be it physical darkness or existential darkness, and the thing you keep thinking over and over and over, when's it going to end? For a time, I felt as if darkness was not my friend. You see, the house I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, it was perched up on a hill. It had a nice backyard that I would play out there with my friends, and my dog would be running around out there very oftentimes if he didn't get out the yard. And there were rooms in the house where I played. I remembered and being on the floor with my Hot Wheel cars and my G.I. Joe action figures and other things like that brought back some really great memories. But there was also another memory that I had, recalling the fact that I felt in those times that darkness was not my friend. Because you see, in that house, there was a basement. And in that basement, at the back of it, if you will, there was a room, the furnace room. And it was dark, it was dingy, it was dismal, the floor was cement, and it just was a room that, for whatever reason, had terrified me. And I would, at nighttime, have some thoughts about that room, thinking that there were going to be monsters that were going to come out of that basement, come out of that room in the basement and come up the steps of the basement and then come up the steps of the house up to the bedroom where I was sleeping and get me. And I was just really frightened for a very long time about all of that, all of what was taking place. And I would lay awake at night and I would ponder over and over in my mind that it was going to come, and I would be listening. And sometimes I would hear sounds that would scare me. And I knew that there was not a lot that I could do about it, because after so many times of telling my parents about it and calling them out in the middle of the night, they let me know those famous words: tell us about it one more time and we'll give you something to be scared about. And so I was on my own. And the way that I coped with all of this was, there was a woman in the church where I grew up. Every Christmas, she would give my sister and I these radios, and they were in all kinds of interesting and funny shapes and everything like that. And they had an earpiece accident that came with them. And in those days, the radios that she gave us were AM radios. And on the AM radio stations, the only ones that I could get on that was an easy listening station and a country and western station. And for a long time, late at night, I'd have that earpiece in my ear listening to country and western, but it soothed me. But the other thing that really soothed me also was that we had in that town trolley buses, and they had these electric arms that went along these wires down the street. And there was a noise that they make when they passed over these junction points. It was a tss sound. But that sound, for some reason, calmed me. And so while I would be up in the wee hours of the morning, frightened out of my skin almost, at the time that the buses started running, which was around 4 a.m., all of a sudden I would hear that noise, and that noise would calm me. There was something about that. While I was wanting the darkness to be over, while I was waiting for the darkness to be over, there came comfort for me in those moments. And I think about the fact that how physical darkness can be disorienting. We can't see our way when we're experiencing physical darkness when it's there. We can't see our way around. We might be in unfamiliar circumstances or whatever else. It's not easy to see our way around. And many of us know that if you're experiencing some kind of physical pain, it just seems to get worse. As a matter of fact, there's scientific evidence for why that is so. But it gets even worse many times for us when we're experiencing physical pain. Oh boy, if you got a toothache in the middle of the night, it seems like that tooth pain is magnified. Or if you've got something that is hurting, or if you've injured some part of your body, there is a pain that is nothing like you experience any other time. And you're sitting there in pain, just wanting the darkness to be over. Or you might just have in your life those periods of time when things are feeling gloomy, things just are not feeling right. You are going through some things. You're experiencing emotional pain, and you're in existential darkness, and you find yourself again feeling disoriented. You find yourself feeling like you aren't yourself. You find yourself, I was talking to a person the other day who didn't recall a conversation that we had and said to me, well, I was going through some things right then. Things seemed pretty dark for me. And it was, I just apologized, but I don't remember what it was that you said to me in that moment. It can seem dark. in all of these situations and circumstances. And as I said, I felt in those moments growing up as a child that darkness was not my friend. And for a very long time, that's how I saw things. But then I began to realize that there's some lessons to be learned from the darkness when I learned to embrace it, when I learned to embrace darkness and see that there were gifts from the darkness, that there were lessons to be learned. First of all, darkness is the place of birth. If we think about it, it's within the darkness of our physical bodies that life is conceived and that it grows for 9 months or so. We know that also that creation, there are many cultures who, a part of their creation story, talk about life beginning and the world beginning and the universe beginning in darkness. We know that with the Webb telescope that we see these formations of stars and galaxies and universes that are out there. And one of the things that we can see about outer space that is dark, and that's where things begin. But darkness can be a place of growth. And I think that's why it's no accident that this time of year, that as the days grow shorter and the nights grow longer, the cultures throughout history have noticed the darkness. And while they're they're wanting it to be over, they have created festivals of light and celebrations of light. That's how we get Hanukkah. That's how we get the solstice celebration. That's how we get Christmas. That's how we get Kwanzaa. That it is looking in the midst of darkness and feeling oftentimes the disorientation, feeling the hopelessness and everything else that darkness can bring. They also saw and also sought out light and began having celebrations of light and festivals of light, wanting the darkness to be over, but recognizing and realizing that there's going to be something more. And the thing about it is, we have to also recognize and realize that without darkness, we'd have no awareness of light. That's right, without darkness, we'd have no awareness of light. The contrast, we know that in the book of Genesis, when it talks about the creation of the world, and while we know it's basically a metaphor, but we hear about how God separated day from night. So it's without darkness, we would have no awareness of light. We would have, without the nighttime, we would have no real knowing of the daytime. But even more than that, there are lessons to be learned from darkness, and there are gifts and opportunities if we just only take the time. If we would pause for a moment from our wanting the darkness to be over, because right where we are right now is where we are. If we find ourselves in darkness, and I'm not suggesting that you resign yourself to darkness and think that that's all there's going to be and that there's no hope for tomorrow. But what I am saying is that if you find yourself in a point of darkness, or even as in these next few weeks, we go through the darkness that comes so quickly now for us, that we understand that this is where we are. I know that I was telling the joke about, when it would get around 5 o'clock and I'd say it's at midnight. And I think I said that one time too many because my wife said, okay, now that's enough. You said that a lot of times. The joke is wearing old. But the fact of the matter is, it's where we are. And when we recognize that, and when we realize that it's where we are, and that's one of the keys to spiritual growth, recognizing where you are in the moment. You may want something to be different. You may want something to change, but accepting where you are in that particular moment gets you to where it is that you want to be. So the first lesson that I want to talk about is that despite all of the anguish and the anxiety and the fear and the angst and everything else that I was going through, lying in bed, listening to the radio, waiting on the sound of the buses, I survived. I'm still here. What I'm saying is that resilience is something that we can learn, that in the midst of what is going on, in the midst of darkness, in the midst of our wanting it to go away, that in the midst of all of that, of our wanting it to be over, that we have within us resilience. I know that when we walk into a dark room, it can be disorienting. But if we take the time, if we take a moment to pause, we can begin to see our eyes adjust to the darkness. And when we do that, when we stop fighting things, when we stop fighting because that which we resist persists, when we understand that when we're going through something, that we can look at and see it as a dark day, we can see it as a dark event, we can see it as dark experiences, that if we just pause for a moment, we can find our orientation and we can begin seeing things happen for us. We can see things coming for us. That which we resist persists, but when we make a change and set our intention, things begin to happen. The second thing is that I also realized the power of my imagination. I created scary things in all that was going on. And in my mind, I was having these monsters and other kinds of things that were coming to harm me and to harm my family and everything else. But it also taught me the power of my imagination and how I could take that power of imagination and do something with it. I've shared with you before. I talked about it last week. Neville talking about God as being our wonderful human imagination and how it's not what happens to us, but how we perceive it that makes the difference. I think about the story of a man who was in a dark room and he felt something wrap around his leg, and he just knew it was a snake, and he became so frightened that he had a heart attack and died from fright, from being afraid of this snake. And the next morning when they came in the room and they found him, they discovered it was just a rope that had gotten tangled up. We, though, can create in our minds and in our imagination the worst possible things, the worst possible scenarios, and we go through things, we put ourselves through things, and in the midst of all this, wanting the darkness to be over, but in that moment, realizing with our imagination, we can set our course, we can set our intention, we can see our way out through things. The third is that in the midst of all of the darkness we might be going through, in the midst of everything else that is happening, there is good news. That in the spiritual realm, we recognize this, that God is light, and in God there is no darkness at all. My favorite in the book of Psalms, the Hebrew scriptures, is from Psalm 139. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light around me become night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as day, for darkness is as light to you. For it was you that formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am remarkably and wonderfully made. The understanding and the awareness here is that no matter how dark it seems, no matter how whatever it is that we're going through, no matter what might be going on, how dark the day, how dark the night, how dark our experience, how dark whatever it is that we're going through, that we are not alone, that God is right there in the midst of us. I think about the psalmist saying that night is not night for God. Night is not night for spirit, that even night is bright as the day, and darkness is light for spirit, for the universe, for God, for whatever it is we want to call. And then this last part, that it was you who formed my inward parts. Again, that creation aspect. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am remarkably and wonderfully made. That when we recognize and realize that as we embrace the darkness and recognize it for what it is, a place of birth, a place of creation, a place of growth, but more importantly, a place where God abides and remains with us. And all of these things, it gives us hope. And all of these things, we can begin, as our theme for this month is Journey Toward the Light. We can begin seeing that on this journey, while we might be coming out of darkness, while we might be coming out of those things that would disorient us, that there is a goal, there is a destination. There is a journey that we can take that goes into the light. And you know, one of my favorite quotes from Rabindranath Tagore, faith is the bird that feels the light and sings while it's still dark. I love this, and I'm sharing this with you, and I commend you to know that in the midst of all, start singing. Start singing, because even though it may feel dark and seem dark right now, that there is something brighter and better coming. Peace and blessings. And so it is.
There was a time in my life thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Good. Done. Done, son.
I thank you for being so real and